Are you a fan of spicy food? Love that extra kick in your meal? Well, today we're shining the spotlight on everyone's favorite sauce, Sriracha. But with so many on the market, which one truly reigns supreme? In today's taste test, we'll look at everything from OG Huy Fong Sriracha to some of the more niche trendy items and determine which one really brings the best combination of heat and flavor. So, whether you're a seasoned Sriracha enthusiast or just looking for something to spice up your next meal, this taste test will help you find the best hot sauce for your palate. So sit tight as we dive into the spicy world of Sriracha. So what is Sriracha? Well, it's named after the town it came from, Sriracha in Thailand. Now, the original version was created sometime in the 1940s, but may predate that, influenced by Cantonese sauce. The origins are a little unknown. However, ultimately it's a combination of garlic, chili peppers, salt, vinegar, and sugar. So a little sweeter than some of the other standard sauces. Now, when Sriracha came to the United States in roughly 1980, its format changed a little bit from the original recipe, and the sauce we enjoy here is a little thicker and not quite as tangy, but quickly became a staple in the United States, spiking sometime in the 2010s in popularity, and has been a strong contender since. So, we'll dive right into tasting down the line here. Rank them, give you both heat, tasting notes, and kind of the shakedown of which one I prefer and why. So without further ado, I'm going to start with where it all began, for the United States at least, with Huy Fong's Sriracha. Now, Huy Fong is the one that popularized the rooster on the bottle, as that was his astrological sign. But that's kind of been adopted by, as you can see, many of the other brands, since it kind of became the flagship of that sauce here in the United States. So very tangy right out of the gate. Not as sweet as many of the other Srirachas that you'll find. So the original one, I say original, but the Huy Fong version, not overly sweet. And that's a lot of people when having Sriracha, that's their complaint about it, is it's too sweet. I am by no means a sweet tooth. None of these seem overly sweet to me, generally speaking. As far as heat, 3 out of 10, nothing crazy there. Maybe pushing a 4, but I think I'll stick with 3 out of 10. Overall, a decent flavor, a little straightforward on just the tangy garlic kick. The flavor of the peppers is there. It's a red jalapeno that's traditionally used in the making of Sriracha. It's a little muted, I would say, compared to some other sauces that showcase the kind of source pepper a little better. But tangy, nice little kick, very garlic forward. Now, Texas Pete. There is a special place in my heart for Srirachacha by Texas Pete, and it's not a fond place. This is the only sauce that was on one of the ships I was on for quite some time. And I'm relatively convinced they just started adding water to the bottles to make them last. But having this as your only condiment for 6 months is a little grating. And I'm hoping it was watered down, but I guess we're about to find out. Very, very different than the Huy Fong. It seems, I feel like tangier is the wrong word. It seems more sour, even though that's where a lot of the tang flavor profile comes from. It seems sour in a way that's not as good. Pretty much identical level of heat on it, 3 pushing a 4. Overall, yeah, I'd say I like this a little bit less than the Huy Fong sauce. It's a little less garlicky, and that showcasing of the pepper I talked about does even less on this one. So getting much more of a vinegar kick to that. And they don't add vinegar other than in the chili pepper mash, it looks like, but just that makeup comes through a little more sour. With all of these, xanthan gum and sodium benzoate are pretty much in every single one. So if those sort of stabilizers are not your jam, then there are some Srirachas that don't have them, but generally that's standard with Sriracha. Now, some familiar faces here from the Walmart episode. Melinda's Sriracha chili sauce. So I remember these being a little muted, probably on the sweeter end of the Srirachas here. But try it again. Yeah, definitely much sweeter, and still 3 out of 10 on heat. The garlic in it tastes more artificial. It tastes more like they took a vat of dried garlic powder and just dumped it in, which may be what all of them did, but the flavor of the garlic here seems in some way inferior. So the first three so far, you can consider that a ranking running to this point, because I would say that's probably just below the Srirachacha. Now we arrive at Yellowbird. Now, Yellowbird uses blue agave in their sauce instead of just sugar. And then, as with most of their sauces, they use tangerine and I believe in this case lime to kind of brighten the sauce a bit and give it a little more tang. So, still much sweeter, but it drops that kind of artificial garlic note that the Melinda's had. Still, I'd say level with Melinda's in terms of sweetness, so sweeter than the first two. Overall, I do like the flavor better than both Melinda's and Srirachacha, so we're going to do a little repositioning here. Heat, yeah, these are all hitting pretty solid threes. Nothing throwing any heavy punches so far. Now, speaking of fond places in my heart, Sky Valley, I think, may be the first hot sauce I ever purchased myself and continue to use as a staple, at least since. So it is a alleged more organic, healthier option. Does still use xanthan gum, but they do cut out some of the other, the sodium bisulfate and potassium sorbate. So Huy Fong not afraid to use whatever's necessary to preserve the sauce. Sky Valley, going for the more organic route, cut out some of those other ingredients. These are all jalapeno based. So the thing that immediately stands out is the texture. It's much grittier, and not in a bad way to me, just in a more like coarsely processed sauce. So a little more texture to it. It definitely pulls the pepper flavor forward. And as far as heat, I'd say that's probably edging up to a 4 instead of a 3 on heat. Other than that, it is, I'd say, sweeter than Huy Fong or the Texas Pete, but not as sweet as the other two, the Yellowbird and Melinda's. For me, that is very clearly in first place so far. Just a much better rounded flavor, good amount of tang. The garlic comes through nicely, and it really showcases the actual pepper flavor a little better. I've never been one to say Sriracha's too sweet, but I can absolutely acknowledge that is sweeter than either of these two. My old nemesis, Tabasco. Now, after picking this up and reading the ingredients, it kind of looks like they made Sriracha and then just splashed Tabasco in it. So I don't know if this is really supposed to be a generic Sriracha or if this is Tabasco flavored Sriracha. We're about to find out. Okay. I don't care which. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but it's definitely staying here at the bottom. It tastes more like ketchup that's gone bad. There is a strange must to it, and it does not register as garlicky. It does not register as... It's definitely sweet. It seems like the sweetness is masked by whatever musty taste that is, but it's probably as sweet as these two sweeter ones. But yikes. I don't necessarily get the Tabasco flavor from that, even though they just straight up throw Tabasco in there as one of the ingredients. But there's something wrong with it. And based on my impression of Tabasco, it's probably the Tabasco. So there you have it. 6 of the top-selling srirachas in the United States. Obviously, you can find many, many dozens and dozens of varieties of sriracha on the market at this point. But as far as the running rank, it's a clear winner to Sky Valley. Excellent flavor, solid heat, a little hotter than I think even some of the really the rest of the offering by just a little bit. I don't know if I give a spice on this one. Probably still solidly in that 3. Kind of hard to pick out around the musty flavor. OG Sriracha, type runner-up, and I previously, I think, judged it a little more harshly, but a solid sauce overall. By the time you're getting here, I don't think I would ever go out and seek this particular Sriracha. It doesn't have as much of the garlic and tang as I would like. It's sweet, but doesn't bring enough heat to really balance that out. And then from here down, I just even offered, there's a little too much trauma from Texas Pete, but for the others, even offered that with an otherwise bland meal, I would be hesitant. And that's another sauce showdown for the books. Let me know how you would rank these, and which sauces weren't here that you think should have been in the lineup. Please subscribe if you enjoyed watching this episode. See more content like it. I'll see you next time.